Fat has long been at the center of a heated debate in the world of nutrition. For decades, public perception has swung like a pendulum, with some advocating fat as an essential, even healthy component of our diets, while others warn of its dangers. But beyond the confusion lies a troubling reality. The risks associated with consuming high levels of fat are severe and far-reaching, impacting millions of lives each year. It's easy to see why fat is so appealing. Rich, creamy, and satisfying, it's present in countless foods that fill supermarket shelves and fast food menus. For many, fat has even become synonymous with flavor and indulgence. Meanwhile, popular narratives often pit fat against sugar, claiming that fat is better or healthier, and that sugar is the true villain behind modern health crises. But this narrative, promoted by powerful food industry interests, is built on shaky ground. To understand the health risks of fat, we must first distinguish between types. Saturated and trans fats, in particular, have been singled out by health experts as especially harmful. Saturated fats are predominantly found in animal products like butter, cheese, and fatty red meat as a white goo, as well as certain tropical oils. Trans fats, on the other hand, are largely artificial, created through a chemical process called hydrogenation, which transforms liquid oils into solid fats. This process doesn't just make foods last longer or taste better, it also introduces a host of toxic substances, including arsenic, hydrogen peroxide, and chloride, along with the trans fats themselves. These substances are not just unappetizing, they are downright dangerous. The consequences of regularly consuming high amounts of saturated and trans fats are profound. One of the most immediate risks is obesity. Fat is calorie-dense, packing more than twice the energy per gram compared to carbohydrates or protein. When consumed in excess or even a little bit too much, it is easily stored in the body, leading to rapid weight gain. Obesity, in turn, is a major risk factor for a host of chronic diseases, including type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, and cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease, in particular, has been closely linked to high-fat diets. Saturated, trans, and excessive amounts of unsaturated fats raise levels of LDL, or bad cholesterol, in the blood, which then accumulates in the walls of arteries. Over time, this buildup leads to atherosclerosis, a narrowing and hardening of the arteries, which can result in high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes, and even sudden death. Each year, millions of lives worldwide are cut short by heart disease, with high-fat diets playing a significant role in this global epidemic. Even white sugar does not cause this madness inside of your body, but don't be fooled. White sugar is still generally unhealthy. But the dangers of fat extend beyond the heart. Excess fat intake has been implicated in fatty liver disease, a condition where fat accumulates in the liver and impairs its function. Fatty liver can progress to more serious liver conditions, including cirrhosis and liver cancer. The repercussions are not just physical. Research shows that high-fat diets can alter the gut microbiome, the complex community of bacteria living in our digestive tracts, leading to increased anxiety, depression, and even cognitive impairments. Studies on animals have revealed that fat can be more addictive than hard drugs. In controlled experiments, mice consistently chose fatty foods over addictive substances like cocaine, suggesting that the appeal of fat may override even our most basic survival instincts. Beyond the laboratory, the prevalence of high-fat diets in society is hard to ignore. Fast food restaurants, snack aisles, and even health foods are often loaded with unhealthy fats. In the United States, where fatty foods are ubiquitous, rates of obesity and related diseases are among the highest in the world. The impact is devastating. Millions of deaths each year are linked to the consequences of high-fat diets, from heart attacks and blood clots to strokes and fatty liver disease. Yet despite this mountain of evidence, the food industry has worked tirelessly to reshape public opinion. Through lobbying, funding questionable research, and clever marketing, the industry has managed to downplay the risks of fat while shifting the blame to sugar. This strategy has been particularly effective. For years, the public was told that sugar, not fat, was responsible for rising rates of obesity and chronic disease. While it is true that excessive added sugar can be harmful, especially in processed foods, it is indisputable that natural sugars, like those in fruits, vegetables, honey, berries, date syrup, natural maple syrup, and even as lactose in milk if you are not allergic to it, are necessary for the human body and do not carry the same risks as saturated and trans fats. In fact, natural sugars are the complete opposite of fats. They help you avoid disease, and without good sugar, your organs and cells cannot function at all. Some industry-backed diets even suggest eating hundreds of grams of fat per day, promoting high-fat, low-carbohydrate regimens as shortcuts to weight loss and improved health. But these diets are not supported by the World Health Organization or by the majority of responsible scientific research. In fact, over 95% of such diets fail, in large part due to their high-fat content, which ultimately undermines metabolism, increases cravings, and leads to weight regain. The dangers of fat are not limited to short-term effects. Chronic exposure to high levels of fat has genetic consequences, altering gene expression in ways that can be passed down to future generations. High-fat diets are linked to increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease, as well as necrosis, or the death of healthy tissues due to inadequate blood supply. Even sleep is affected. Sleep apnea, a condition in which breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep, is far more common in those who consume excess fat and suffer from obesity. Health experts and researchers continue to warn of the dangers. Renowned physicians like Dr. Michael Greger have highlighted the overwhelming evidence that fat, especially in the forms found in processed and animal-derived foods, poses a much greater risk to human health than natural sugars ever could. Yet, the message struggles to break through the noise of industry propaganda and deeply rooted cultural habits. In the end, the science is clear. While certain fats are a necessary part of the human diet in small quantities, the amounts and types matter immensely. Unsaturated fats, found in foods like avocados, nuts, and olive oil, can be part of a balanced diet when consumed in moderation, although they can be very dangerous just like other fats when consumed in excess. But saturated and trans fats, so common in today's fast food culture, pose grave risks. The food industry's efforts to obscure the truth have led to confusion and, ultimately, to tragedy on a massive scale. Millions of people continue to suffer and die prematurely because the dangers of high-fat diets are not widely understood. As consumers, the most powerful step we can take is to educate ourselves, to scrutinize the foods we eat, and to demand transparency and accountability from the food industry. By shifting away from unhealthy fats and toward a balanced, plant-rich diet, we can protect ourselves, our families, and future generations from the devastating consequences of a world awash in fat. The choice is ours, and the stakes could not be higher.